My fiancé of 6 years proposed 2 weeks after his visa expired. I was 5 months pregnant when I found the texts, 3 different women, all promises, all lies. I called my lawyer, then my cousin who works for immigration. But what they discovered made me realize the pregnancy wasn't even the worst part of his deception. Hey everyone, I'm Maya Richardson, I'm 31 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most devastating, enraging, and ultimately vindicating story about how my 6-year relationship was actually a calculated fraud, how my pregnancy revealed everything, and how karma came for him faster than I could have imagined. This happened 4 months ago, and I'm still processing the layers of betrayal I uncovered. So let me take you through this step by step, because every revelation was somehow worse than the last. Let me start 6 years ago when I met Dmitry Volkov. I was 25, working as a nurse at a hospital in Seattle. Dmitry was 28, from Russia, working as a personal trainer at an upscale gym. He was charming, handsome, attentive, everything I thought I wanted. We met at a coffee shop near the hospital. He approached me, made me laugh, got my number. We went on a date that weekend. He was romantic, brought me flowers, told me I was beautiful. I was smitten. Our relationship moved quickly. Within 3 months, he'd moved into my apartment. He said his lease was up and he couldn't afford the rent increase. I offered to let him stay temporarily. Temporary became permanent. I love you, he'd say. You're the woman I want to marry. I'm just waiting for the right moment. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He seemed devoted. He'd leave me sweet notes. Cook me dinner occasionally. Tell me how lucky he was to have found me. But there were things that didn't quite add up. He never wanted to talk about his family in Russia. Changed the subject whenever I asked. He was always vague about his visa status. I'm working on it, he'd say. My lawyer is handling everything. He never contributed much financially. Paid some rent occasionally, but I covered most expenses. He said personal training was inconsistent income. I understood, or thought I did. He was possessive. Didn't like when I went out with friends without him. Checked my phone constantly. But he framed it as love. I just care so much about you. I worry. Red flags I ignored because I was in love. 5 years into our relationship, I started bringing up marriage more directly. Dmitry, we've been together 5 years. When are we getting engaged? Soon, baby. I promise. I want everything to be perfect. Perfect how? I want to be in a better place financially. I want to give you the wedding you deserve. It sounded reasonable. Romantic, even. Then, exactly 2 weeks after his work visa expired, I didn't know it had expired, he proposed. Candlelit dinner at home. Down on one knee. Beautiful ring, that I later discovered he'd put on my credit card without asking. Maya, you're the love of my life. Will you marry me? I said yes. I cried. I thought all the waiting had been worth it. We set a date 6 months away. Started planning. I was handling most of the costs, venue, catering, photographer. He said he'd contribute when his big client deal came through. The deal never came through. 3 months into our engagement, I discovered I was pregnant. I was shocked, we'd been careful, or so I thought. But I was also excited. We were getting married anyway. A baby would just make our family complete. When I told Dmitry, his reaction was strange. Are you sure? I took 3 tests. All positive. But we were being careful. Apparently not careful enough. He was quiet for a long moment. What do you want to do? What do you mean, what do I want to do? We're getting married in 3 months. We're having a baby. This is good news. Right. Of course. I'm just surprised. He seemed off for weeks after. Distant. On his phone constantly. Staying out late. Where are you? I text. At the gym. Late client. Who? New client. Very demanding. I trusted him. I was pregnant, exhausted from work, focused on wedding planning. I didn't have energy to be suspicious. At 5 months pregnant, I went to my OB appointment. Everything was fine, healthy baby, good heartbeat. I was excited to share the ultrasound video with Dmitry. I came home early from the appointment. Walked into our apartment around 2 p.m. Dmitry was home, unusual for a Tuesday afternoon. He was on the couch with his laptop, typing frantically. When he heard me, he slammed it shut. You're home early. Appointment was quick. What are you doing? Nothing. Just emails. You seem stressed. I'm fine. But he wasn't fine. He was nervous. Jumpy. Dmitry, what's going on? Nothing. Why are you interrogating me? I'm not interrogating you. I'm asking why you're acting weird. I'm not acting weird. You're being paranoid. He left the apartment angry. Said he needed to go to the gym. Something felt wrong. I couldn't shake it. I did something I'd never done before. I looked at his laptop. He'd left it on the couch. It wasn't locked. I opened it. His email was still open. And what I saw destroyed me. Messages to multiple women. Flirty. Sexual. Making plans. Promises. Natasha, I miss you. When can I see you again? Dmitry, soon baby. Just have to deal with some things at home first. Elena, are you really getting married or were you lying? Dmitry, it's complicated. The marriage is just for papers. I don't love her. Svetlana, when are you coming back to Russia? I'm waiting for you. Dmitry, after I get my green card. Then we can be together. I read dozens of emails. Messages going back months. Years, even. Different women. Same patterns. Same lies. He'd been cheating throughout our entire relationship. With multiple women. Telling them all he loved them. Telling them all I meant nothing. And the marriage, our wedding I was planning, that I was paying for, was just for a green card. I felt sick. Literally nauseous. I ran to the bathroom and vomited. I was 5 months pregnant with this man's baby. Planning to marry him in 6 weeks. And he'd been using me the entire time. I took photos of everything. Every email. Every message. Every photo he'd sent to other women. I documented it all on my phone. Then I called my best friend Sophie. I need you to come over. Now. Please. What's wrong? Everything. She came over within 20 minutes. I showed her the emails. She was horrified. Maya, you need to leave him. Now. I'm pregnant. We're supposed to get married in 6 weeks. He's been using you. For his green card. He's cheating on you with multiple women. You can't marry him. But the baby, you'll figure it out. But you cannot legally tie yourself to this man. She was right. I knew she was right. But I was also 5 months pregnant, exhausted, heartbroken, and overwhelmed. Sophie stayed with me until Dmitry came home that night. I confronted him with the evidence. He tried to deny it. You went through my laptop? That's invasion of privacy. You're cheating on me. With multiple women. You told Elena the marriage is just for papers. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I was just saying that to make her feel better. She's crazy. She doesn't understand our relationship. What about Natasha? And Svetlana? And the messages going back years? Those are old. From before us. They're dated last month. He changed tactics. Started crying. I'm sorry. I made mistakes. But I love you. I want to marry you. I want to be a father to our baby. Do you? Or do you want a green card? Both. I want both. When does your visa expire? It doesn't, I mean, it's complicated. When, Dmitry? It already expired. 2 months ago. Before you proposed. That's a coincidence, is it? You proposed 2 weeks after your visa expired. You've been dragging out our engagement for 5 years, then suddenly you're ready to get married right when you need legal status? He couldn't answer. Get out, I said. Maya, please, get out. Pack a bag and leave. We're done. He tried to argue. Sophie called the police. They escorted him out. That night, I called my cousin Rachel. She works for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. I need advice. About immigration fraud. I explained everything. The timeline. The expired visa. The emails admitting the marriage was for papers. Maya, that's visa fraud. He could be deported. Good. You need to report this. If you marry him knowing it's fraud, you could be implicated too. I'm not marrying him. But I have evidence. Emails. Messages. Admitting the marriage is just for papers. Send them to me. I'll pass them to the fraud division. I sent everything. Within a week, Dmitry received a notice. Investigation into visa status. He was panicking. Called me dozens of times. Maya, please. Talk to them. Tell them we're really getting married. I'll lose everything. You should have thought of that before you cheated on me and used me for a green card. Please. I have nowhere to go. Figure it out. You're good at lying. Lie to someone else. But it got worse for him. Remember the emails to Svetlana about going back to Russia after the green card? Turns out Svetlana was his wife. His actual wife. In Russia. They'd never divorced. Rachel discovered this during the investigation. Maya, he's already married. Has been for 7 years. He never divorced his wife in Russia. He's married. Yes. Which means if you'd married him, it would have been bigamy. Illegal in the US and would have invalidated the marriage for green card purposes anyway. So not only was he using me for a green card, but the marriage wouldn't have even worked for that purpose because he was already legally married. I thought that was the worst of it. It wasn't. When immigration investigated Dmitri's history, they found more. He'd done this before. 3 times, 3 other women in 3 different cities over the past decade. Chicago, dated a woman for 4 years, proposed when his student visa expired, dumped her right after getting his green card. New York, engaged to a woman, got the green card, disappeared. Los Angeles, married a woman, got the green card, divorced her 6 months later and took half her assets in the settlement. He was a serial green card scammer. I was victim number 4. Rachel sent me the full report. Maya, this man has been running this scheme for over a decade. You're not the first. But you might be the last. We're building a case for deportation and fraud charges. I felt sick. Not just for me, but for the other women he'd used. Then came the pregnancy revelation. At 6 months pregnant, I started having complications. Severe cramping. Bleeding. I went to the ER terrified I was losing the baby. They ran tests. Ultrasounds. Blood work. The doctor came in looking concerned. Ms. Richardson, we need to run some additional tests. We've detected some abnormalities. Is the baby okay? The baby is fine. But we found something in your blood work. You've been exposed to a sexually transmitted infection. Likely from your partner. My heart sank. What kind of infection? Chlamydia. It's treatable, but it can cause complications in pregnancy if left untreated. Have you experienced any symptoms? No. Nothing. Many people are asymptomatic. We need to treat you immediately to prevent any risk to the baby. So not only had Dmitri cheated on me with multiple women, lied about the marriage, committed visa fraud, and been secretly married, he'd also given me an STI while I was pregnant. I was treated immediately. The baby was fine, thankfully. But I was tested for everything else. HIV, hepatitis, everything. All came back negative except the chlamydia. I reported this to immigration too. Proof he'd been sexually active with multiple partners, further evidence of his lies. The investigation moved quickly after that. Dmitri was arrested 3 weeks later. Charged with immigration fraud, visa overstay, and making false statements to federal officials. He tried to fight it. Hired a lawyer. Claimed he really loved me, that the emails were taken out of context, that he was being persecuted. But the evidence was overwhelming. The emails. The pattern with other women. The existing marriage in Russia. The timeline of his proposal matching his visa expiration. He was convicted. Sentenced to 6 months in federal detention, then deportation to Russia. His lawyer tried to get me to testify on his behalf. If you tell the court you really loved him, that the relationship was real, maybe he can stay. No. But you're having his baby, that doesn't make him any less of a fraud. Dmitri tried to reach out from detention. Letters begging me to help him. Saying he'd changed. Saying he wanted to be a father. I sent one letter back. You had 6 years to be honest with me. You chose to lie, cheat, and use me. Now you face the consequences. I will not help you. He was deported 2 months ago. Back to Russia. Back to his actual wife, who apparently was still waiting for him. I gave birth to my daughter, Lily, 6 weeks ago. She's healthy, perfect, beautiful. Dmitri has no legal rights to her. He's not on the birth certificate. He has no claim to custody. He's permanently barred from re-entering the United States. I'm raising her as a single mother. It's hard, but I have support. My family. My friends. Sophie has been incredible. And I'm healing. Slowly. From the betrayal, the lies, the manipulation. I also connected with 2 of the other women Dmitri had scammed, the ones from Chicago and New York. We formed a support group. Shared our stories. Helped each other process the trauma. How did we all fall for it? The Chicago woman, Jennifer, asked. Because he's good at it, the New York woman, Amanda, said. He finds women who are kind, trusting, successful. Women who will support him. And he uses that against us. We've talked about filing a civil lawsuit against him for fraud and emotional distress. But he has no assets. He's in Russia. There's nothing to sue for. But we reported him to international agencies. Made sure his name is flagged. So if he tries this in another country, there's a record. Sophie asked me recently, do you regret the relationship? The 6 years? Yes and no. I regret being lied to. Being used. But I have Lily now. And I learned what I will and won't tolerate. What red flags look like. What manipulation feels like. Would you date again? Someday. When I'm ready. But I'll be a lot more careful. A lot more skeptical. The wedding was cancelled, obviously. I got refunds on what I could. Lost money on what I couldn't. But compared to what I would have lost if I'd actually married him, my dignity, my legal standing, possibly my assets in a divorce, it was worth it. My cousin Rachel told me last week that Dimitri tried to re-enter the US through Mexico. He was caught at the border and sent back. He's now on a permanent watch list. He'll never be able to come back, Rachel said. Even if he marries another American, his fraud conviction and deportation make him inadmissible. Good. He can't hurt anyone else here. I think about the timelines sometimes. How he proposed exactly when he needed to. How he pretended to be excited about the pregnancy while cheating with multiple women. How he had an entire wife in Russia I knew nothing about. The level of deception is staggering. 6 years of lies. 6 years of acting. 6 years of using me. But he got caught. He got deported. He lost access to the country he'd been trying to stay in for a decade. And I got Lily. My daughter. Who will grow up knowing her mother is strong enough to walk away from lies. To protect herself and her child. To demand better. That's not revenge. That's just consequences. Dimitri thought he could use me, cheat on me, lie to me, and face no repercussions. He was wrong.